I'm down in Devon, so I thought I'd come down for the weekend to do a bit of photography, and the weather has been pretty atrocious. If you can look up, see the clouds up there, they're very uneventful. There's no detail in them or anything like that. So what I've decided to do is come down to Dartmeet, which is where the River Dart, from the, I think the West Dart and the East Dart join into the River Dart. And this is a beautiful little patch of the river. It's quite a wide river, as you can see, over there. And I think that's where they meet, just down that bit. But there's some amazing bits of rocks and things like that in the water. So this will be conducive to some really nice waterfall photographs. So that's what I'm going to do today, because I'm not going to get any grand vistas with this miserable sky. And when the light's flat like this, it's best to go and take pictures of waterfalls. Behind me we've got this lovely bridge which is going over the Dart here. We've got this big alder tree here and a maple this side, and it's blocking quite a lot of the view. So I think this bit's quite difficult to get a photograph of. I can go the other side of this maple here, but I think you'll be too close to the bridge, so I don't know if I'm going to get any great photos this side. But I wanted to try and frame the river going through the arch, but what I might have to do instead is go onto the other side of the bridge, which is a bit more accessible and it's a lot more open, and get the water going through coming this way. So I've come the other side, and it's a lot clearer here this side, and this side is where the car park is, and you've got this lovely oak tree, it's a really old one, going over the river here. And down there we've got some, I think they're like really old historic bridges, so there's a lot of opportunity for some photography around here. I have to be careful of my footing, it's very slippy, and I don't want to drop my camera gear in the water. I don't mind getting wet, but I'm cheap. Okay, so these are the bridges. We've got one over there and this one down here. And it might actually be interesting to get a photograph of these bridges in line with the bridge at the back as well. So I'm going to look around for some nice compositions. I don't know how far I can get into the water, but one of the problems of going down into the water down there is that you'll be looking up at the bridge over there, and the sky at the moment is just white. There's no real detail in the clouds, it's very uneventful. So I want to try and crop out the sky as much as I can, but because the bridge is on the horizon, I think that'll be quite difficult. I couldn't find a decent composition then. I was trying to cut the sky out, but it was just really too cropped in, it's very thin. And there's people kept jumping on the stones and just standing there for ages and ages. And I decided the composition wasn't worth waiting for the shot. So instead I'm just going to look for another composition. The trees are looking really amazing at the moment. It's just coming up to autumn, so we've got these maples that are starting to turn and go a bit yellow, so that's something to look forward to. I'm going to see if I can have a look around. Oh, he's back again. Well, I won't be going for that composition. But yeah, there should be lots of compositions around with these lovely yellow trees. I've just waited 20 minutes for those people just to get off these rocks, so I can get my photograph. It is frustrating when people see you, they just completely ignore you, but it's a public area, so it's open for everyone, so just have to be patient and wait till they've moved on. And so I've now got another photograph, and what I've done, I was dangling precariously down there with the my camera legs in the water. It was very slippy and quite worrying. But I've managed to get a photo. The reason I had to get out there and not up here was because I wanted this rock down here, and you can see it somewhere around there. It's got this lovely bit of greenery on it. It's a nice roundish rock, and there's some tiny little ferns. And I wanted to get that, and there's a nice swirl of the water that comes around this rock. I can't really see it on there. But it comes around this rock and then down into a mini waterfall. And you've got this lovely tree on the right hand side of the image, and then you've got the main bridge and that other old stone bridge in the background. If I was standing here on the side, the background bridges and this tree were in the ideal position on the left hand side and right hand side, and it framed it up quite nicely. However, the foreground down here was just off to the side, and it didn't look right. So what I had to do was to go into the water to try and really centralise that rock there, so I can get a nice flow of water both sides of it, from the right and the left, going down that, and that gives a bit more flow to the image, and it balances it quite nicely with this rock in the foreground. So then all the three elements, the foreground, the midground, and then the background, then came together. Right, I found another composition. There's this beautiful tree. Can't see what it is. Oh, it's an alder. And it's got a bit of ivy growing up it, but it's just covered in moss and ferns. And this is just arching over the river here. And there's some really lovely rocks down in the foreground. But also in the background, I don't know if you can see, there's this very small maple that's just fallen down. So I quite like that, on the other side of the river going in. And then on this side, you've got some lovely colours of this beech. So those are slowly starting to turn. So we've got a bit of yellow, a bit of orange there. There was a little bit of light on that earlier, so hopefully I should have picked that up, and that should make a nice photograph. Now, because it's been raining, I've taken two photographs of exactly the same composition and everything. The only difference is that on one photograph I used a polarizing filter, and on the other one I didn't. Now, the first shot I took with a polarizer, you could see all this white reflection. I don't know if you can pick it up there on the video, but you get all this white reflection on the top of the water, and because all these leaves are wet, you're getting the same effect of the white reflection, and it's off all these clouds up here. It's just pure white at the moment, so you're just getting lots of white reflections off the leaves and off the water, and you're getting lots of highlights. So to try and cut that out, I've put a polarizing filter on it, and what that will do, that will cut through the glare, so you can see deeper into the water, and there's some really lovely colours in this water down here, and there's a few massive rocks, and I think those rocks would look really nice to be visible in the photograph, and also it should bring out some of the lovely colour in these leaves. So I found another really beautiful photograph. We've got this little glade down here. We've got a bit of a plunge pool, and there's a waterfall just down the bottom. And over here we've got an alder, still with a rhododendron, and then another alder this side. And this is all enclosing this little pond down here. And in the background, that's where the river's coming through. And it's quite light on that side because all the trees are shading this. The exposure for the background is a lot brighter. So the river in the background is quite bright. So whenever you have something bright in the scene, your eye naturally moves towards it. So at the moment you probably see this big bright bit of patch of sky up here, and that's quite distracting. But because the river is quite an important part of this image, because that's where the water's coming from for this plunge pool here, that shouldn't be too distracting. I'm not going to make it too bright, but it's a nice area of interest leading into this shaded bit down here. I've walked up the public footpath from Dartmeet, which is just down that area, and just found this really stunning oak tree behind me. So the oak tree's here, and then behind it we've got some really lovely beech trees over on the other side of the river. And the colour at the moment is absolutely perfect. So I thought I'd just stop here and try and make a composition. Now, down here we've got some gorse bushes and it drops straight off into the river. So this is really the only composition that I can get. I did want to get a bit lower, but it's not practical. The water is really high at the moment, so I may be able to get down there, but I don't think I can get down there without getting wet. So I probably won't do that. So I've just taken a composition from up here. You do get a little bit of the foliage on the side, which does encroach into the photo, which I might be able to crop, but because I really wanted to get that tree in the middle third, and then just all the water rushing behind it, and get the colour of these lovely two beeches in the background. But it's amazing how pretty this is. It's such a beautiful scene. I really hope the photograph does it justice. So I've put it on f11 to try and get a good depth of field. I'm focusing right into that tree, so I've got a bit about 5-6 meters. So there really isn't anything that I need to worry about with depth of field. So f11 should give me front to back sharpness, and all I'm really getting is these another 5-10 meters back, I guess. You've got the beech trees there, and that's really the only other area of focus because it's just about colour. Also, the water's moving really fast at the moment, so a shutter speed of I think it's about 1/16 of a second blurs that quite nicely. There is a bit of highlight blown out in the white bits. I don't want to overexpose it too much, because if you've got too much highlight blown out, then it really will give you like some unpleasing parts of the image. So I've kept those to a minimum. So it's been absolutely pouring down. I've decided to come back to the van now, and it's starting to get, or it was getting dark. The sun's just popping out again, but I think it's time to call it a day. So thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed some of the photographs. To be honest, I don't think I was overly happy with the compositions in today's shoot, but that's how it goes sometimes. But I really do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.